Drivers, start your engines!
This is MRN Motorsports Monday, presented by Outback Steakhouse. One full hour of news, interviews, and opinion about the past weekend's racing action. Brought to you by Hercules Tires.
Pace car is up.
Now, here are your hosts, Woody Kane and Joey Meyer.
Green flag, green flag.
Welcome to another edition of Motorsports Monday, presented by Outback Steakhouse. And don't forget to go check them out for lunch today. Lots of $6.99 specials. The Joey menu, which is not all about Joey, my co-host, but he thinks it is. It's the kids menu. And don't forget to race into Outback Steakhouse today for a free, that's free, Bloomin' Onion, because not only did Kevin Harvick finish in the top 10, he won the race at Kansas. Outback Steakhouse done right.
How do you know it's not my menu?
Because it was part of their plan before we came on the scene.
But it may have been. But I may have been part of that before I got here.
You may have been,
See,
but you weren't.
We're looking for definitive proof. That's all I'm saying. We can't go off hearsay.
I think we can in this case. I think we're safe with
All
hearsay
right.
in this
Okay.
case. I think we're definitely safe.
All right.
So Kevin Harvick goes to victory lane at Kansas, and he
Wow.
is the only guy, I heard this stat yesterday, who has never been eliminated in a round. Now, he's not won the championship since we've gone to this format, but he's the only driver to make it through every round without being knocked out.
Yeah, I mean, we can go with statistics, but the chase hasn't been going on that long with the 16 drivers and the 3 different rounds, and I get it. He's been really good.
Yeah.
No matter what stat you want to use, he's given you guys plenty of opportunities to get some free Bloomin' Onions throughout
you
2016. Yeah, myself as well, which you guys never invite me when you go to lunch, but we'll have
I went with my wife last time. We just did it on a whim, leaving a movie.
Oh, so now your wife's
and we didn't go, hey, let's
So
call
now your
Joey.
wife's more important to me.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Are we clear? Okay, we're clear. All right. But be that as it may, Kevin Harvick is the only guy. I think it's significant. You would have thought there might have been some trouble enough along the way somewhere where he might have been knocked out of the race or knocked out of the chase just because of circumstances or luck or what have you, but it hasn't happened.
Well, the timing of their issues that they've had previous, like last week, haven't come up to snag them. You know, Jimmy Johnson was at Dover and had a seal failure several years ago that knocked him out. So the failures that they've had have been the timing of them hasn't been as critical for that team as we've seen other teams. Their incidences don't carry over with the longevity that we've seen the other teams do, and they've been very fortunate. They have performance. Yesterday was another dominating day with those guys who early in the race didn't look like Superman, as I think our guys were calling Matt Kenseth earlier in the broadcast. He looked really good. An unusual opportunity for those guys to run that bottom line with the 20 car and be very, very dominant. He didn't have the flexibility to get off the bottom and find the speed that the 4 car and some other teams did, and that was his Achilles heel a little bit. Once the teams found a little more speed moving off the bottom, Matt wasn't able to move around as well and kind of wasn't going any slower, but didn't.
Yeah, and
he
got back there in the pack and got some contact too along the way.
Yeah, and then just gave up a little bit of speed running that bottom lane and not being as flexible like he was earlier in the race. But Kevin Harvick and a couple of other cars, Joey Logano, those guys were able to move around and get up against that wall and really find some raw speed.
Isn't it interesting that not so long ago, everybody, it seemed, not everybody, but a lot of people were going, oh, there's no way anybody's going to beat Toyota. They're too tough right now. They've got everybody covered. And all of a sudden, here we get to where it's time to go, and the Chevrolets have won 2 straight.
You know, and again, it's interesting. We said, again, if you watch our last week's program, we talked about this with the downfall of Hendrick Motorsports and, ooh, where's Jimmy Johnson? You know, all year long, the team may not have shown the raw speed, but their teammates did with the 24 car. We've seen speed off the 4 car, and the reason we don't get the reason Joe Gibbs Racing gets so much accolades is they have all 4 teams over there performing at a high level, you know, and that's so it just raises the average. But over at Stuart Haas, you've got the 41 and the 4 that are both in the chase, and so if they're not performing, well, the other 2 teams are just kind of quiet. You don't hear much from them.
Well, and then Dale Jr. gets the concussion and is out much of the year, and they're rotating drivers in and out.
Yeah, and again, Alex Bowman over there quietly at another top 10 with his best finish of his career, we say.
And he was sick as a dog too. How about that?
Sick as a dog.
Yeah.
Went to the hospital or I guess infield care center and got some IVs. But those guys have been strong. The 4-car and the 48-car, man, 2 Chevrolets already into the 3rd round with Texas Phoenix Homestead just right around the corner. Martinsville, Texas Phoenix is the 3rd round, and, of course, hoping to end up at Homestead. But interesting day. People were looking for drama, and I think it's starting to the wick is lit. It's turned up, and the sparks are starting to fly. Talladega is going to prove to be very, very pivotal for a number of teams, including ourselves with the old 2-car. We kind of kicked ourselves in the kidneys yesterday with our actions.
That's kind of hard to do, isn't it?
Well, exactly right. It was kind of hard to do what we did yesterday,
too. Got to be really flexible to do that.
We walked in yesterday's race thinking we were going to be protective and protect a 24, 25-point lead, and walked out -7 in the hole. We gave up a lot of points, finishing 38th with our actions on the track with Danny. Nobody's fault, just a racing deal, and that's the way it works.
All right. Kevin Harvick was the winner yesterday at Kansas Speedway. Here's what he sounded like in victory lane.
Just really proud of everybody on our Outback, Jimmy John's, Busch, Chevrolet, for everything that they do. These guys are just really good at their job, and a lot of fun to be a part of this team. And it seems like the further that you put their backs against the wall, the better they perform. So just honored to drive this car.
The restart at the end, describe what happened on the restart and what gave you that advantage.
I just got a good launch out of the box. We've worked really hard on our restarts, on ratios and procedures and timing and studying them. I didn't do a very good job at the beginning of the year, and all that work has paid off, and we've been able to win a couple races here in the Chase on restarts.
How comforting is it for you to know that you're locked into the next round despite what happens next week?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. There's Talladega is stressful enough by itself, so to go there and not have to worry about points feels really good.
There you go, Kevin Harvick with our Steve Post in victory lane at Kansas, and boy, it is a nice feeling if you're one of those guys who doesn't have to worry about anything going to Talladega, because it's crazy. You guys were able to win it when you were facing elimination before, but not something you want to do time after time after time.
No, you don't want to have to go to Talladega and have to win, because, again, there's 39 other guys that really don't care what your agenda is. And you look at the screen right now, we're -7 below the cutoff. And back in 2014, I believe, when we went and won that race, Joey Logano was locked in. So as a teammate, he was able to assist us. This race here, he doesn't need to want to. He doesn't have to. He doesn't care about the 2-car because
he's got no margin for error himself.
He has to get in the chase. He has to get to the next round. Chase Elliott, his only chance to get through the next round is to win that race. Well, guess what? Jimmy Johnson's already in. So what do you think Jimmy's going to do all day Sunday? He's going to he's going to try to protect Chase Elliott and get that 24 car through victory lane. So we've put ourselves in a hole. Yes, we've been there before. We've got the shovels sharpened, and we're going to try to grab a good set of work gloves and dig ourselves out of that hole we put ourselves in.
There you go. It'll be intense for sure at Talladega Superspeedway coming up this weekend. You'll hear it live on the Motor Racing Network. And for the rest of our show today, we've got a big one for you. Of course, on track, off track, a couple of good topics that you might want to get involved with. Use the hashtag AskMRN if you want to play along with us. AJ Allmendinger will be along a little bit later on, but on the other side of the break, Brendan Gaughan will join us after, boy, what a tweet storm he had over the weekend with him running back to the car after an incident and they got it ready. We'll talk about that as well. But as we go out, let's hear from the second place finisher on Sunday at Kansas, Carl Edwards.
Looked like the car was really good on longer runs. What was the difference at the finish?
Oh, just the restart. That bottom line got a good run, and they got in front of me, and then I got choked up and raced Kyle for a long time, and that set us back. But man, we had a really good car. So frustrating to come home second here. But Kevin and those guys, they did a really good job. They didn't have that fast of a car. They just made the most of that restart and then took off. So we'll go to Talladega now. But man, I wanted to win. I just really appreciate all the support out here, and we'll come back next year. We'll give it 100% effort. That was a lot of fun to run up front today.
This is MRN Motorsports Monday.
In the Outback, we think the best part about racing is the noise, the engine, the pits, and a Kevin Harvick top 10 finish. Especially a Kevin Harvick top 10 finish. That's because if Kevin Happy Harvick, driver of the number 4 Chevrolet, places in the top 10 in today's race, there's free bloomin' onions this Monday. So you'll have a happy bloomin' Monday. Only at Outback Steakhouse. Valid with any purchase. One per table. Participation may vary. Registered trademarks used with permission.
Dale Jr. here. I wear Wrangler Advanced Comfort jeans for any occasion. With new styles and great fits, you'll look good and feel comfortable no matter where you are.
Wrangler Advanced Comfort jeans are designed to keep up with you no matter where you go or what you're doing. They're made with 20% stronger denim and 4-way flex technology that moves with you, so you can go anywhere, look great, and be comfortable all day long.
Wrangler Advanced Comfort Jeans, the most comfortable jeans you will ever wear. Try on a pair today.
Wrangler, be comfortable.
Do you need help with moving your equipment? Industry-leading companies do, and they trust Housby Transport to move their internal equipment promptly and professionally. At Housby Transport, we pride ourselves on efficiency, timeliness, and saving our customers money with our team of logistics managers always ready to assist you in any way possible. Any size, any type, anywhere. Housby Transport is ready to move. For more information and to obtain a quote, visit Housby.com. Housby, an official sponsor of NASCAR for over 40 years.
Hi, this is Greg Biffle. You're listening to MRN Motorsports Monday with Joey Meyer and Woody Kane.
And we're back on the program talking about the weekend that was at Kansas Speedway. I'm Woody, he's Joey, and joining us on the guest line now, the driver of the number 62 South Point Hotel and Casino Chevrolet at Richard Childress Racing, Brendan Gaughan. Brendan, one of the final 8 in the Xfinity side. First time you guys have ever had a chase, and not necessarily the race you wanted at Kansas, but you still got 2 races to kick it and make it to the final 4.
Yeah, we were doing just what Shane and I do best, which we didn't have the best Chevrolet that day, but we know how to get the best out of it. And we were trying to keep that strategy and just persevere and do well. We were going to finish about 11th, maybe 10th, 11th, 12th. And hell, if we finished 11th, 12th, we're sitting 3rd in points. That was kind of our goal to salvage the day. And kind of like Joey said, it was a racing deal. I put myself where I shouldn't have. I knew better. Joey's a spotter and he gets this, but certain people we don't like to race around, certain people you do like to race around. And if you get around somebody you don't want to be around, you should just pull yourself out. And I didn't do that. So it was a racing gig. It was kind of my fault. But, I got around some places that I didn't need to be around, and it hurt us. And that put us in a big hole, 17 points behind with 2 races to make it up. So now we're going to have to try a new strategy. But fortunately, RCR with 2 weeks off, they're building me a brand new race car. Was just in the office with our competition director, Eric Warren, and was in there talking about their plan of what they're trying to do, and they think this is going to be a better mousetrap because lately our mousetraps haven't been up to snuff enough. So we're going there and going to give it a shot, man. You got to roll the dice.
One of the things you said post-race right away that caught me off guard or caught me by surprise a little bit, most of these Xfinity teams that have a strong relationship with their Cup cars and their Cup cars are running good, which in RCR's case they are on the Cup side, you said all of the RCR Xfinity cars lack speed, and I'm paraphrasing here. What exactly issue? What are you struggling with over there on the Xfinity side that you can't get from the Cup side?
Well, and the cars aren't all the same yet, Joey. Next year, supposedly, they're going to the same splitter height. They're going to, make it a more similar race car again. But right now, we just, they worked hard on getting those Cup cars back up to speed. I mean, look at how much better Austin Dillon's been running lately. Paul Menard been running lately. I mean, they definitely have made a positive change on the Cup side, and that was from about 4 weeks ago. So, we've seen some positives. And now they're going to try that and move it over to the Xfinity side and a little untested as far as going Xfinity racing, but you got to do something. You know what I mean, Joey? We're not running well enough to make up that many points to compete with those Gibbs cars yet. So we got to try something. And I'm not against, I'm not against throwing dice. I'm from Vegas.
Absolutely you are. By the way, when we went out there for the truck race recently, I got to stay at the South Point for the first time. Really cool. Had a great time. It was a nice place. Enjoyed it.
We appreciate it. It's about time we got you guys at the right place.
Yeah, well, those guys got to do it last year. This was my first trip out there, but it was really cool. We kept thinking you might pop in and we'd see you behind the counter, but you were kind of busy.
I was a little busy at Dover that week trying to qualify for the second round of the chase, so it definitely worked out well in my favor, but thank you for coming.
All right, now I got to ask you about this because it has melted Twitter, the video of you running back to the car after they got it fixed after the incident you talked about. Goodness gracious, have you ever seen anything like this before?
Well, I keep laughing. I don't know. My funny thing is people are like, what's the funny part? I outran my PR guy, outran the most fit guy on my team, outran him to get back to the car. And Joey, would you rather see your driver walking back to the car with a lazy attitude going, man, this sucks. We wrecked.
Well, that's the chase. That's the chase intensity, man. I'm glad you still had it there.
I mean, come on, it's like, and I ran from the back gate of that garage. They showed me come around that corner and run to the car. I'd already run 300 yards by that point, and I killed my PR guy. I passed Scott Honan, my interior guy, who might be the most fit guy on our team, and I ran in there. Now, I will not lie and say that I didn't have to loosen the seatbelts once I got to turn 1 because they may have been going concave by the time I was.
Oh my gosh!
But hey, I may be bigger now, but I promise I've run more sprints than any one of us out there in my college days. I still know how to run very fast for a very short distance.
No, I got to give you credit. You didn't wait till the cameras came on. You ran a long way to get there. But you know what got me is right before you jump in the car, you take the hat off, and you don't give it to a team guy. You toss it to an official and then jump in.
I was actually throwing it to my jackman, Darrell, who was right behind him. But I watched the video. Everybody kept saying that, and I saw it. It looked like I threw it to the fire safety guy. I was throwing it to Darrell and just kind of hucked it to him and kept on running. But, it was a lot of – look, this is intense. You got to gain every spot you can. My team said they were getting that race car back out on the racetrack, so my happy butt was going to get there and be – it was perfect timing. I mean, right when I jumped in, Timmy Petty had me fire that motor up, and it held oil pressure. And so we sealed it up, and it was great timing. But, man, they dig for me. I dig for them. We do this together. And I think it's funny that people, either think that I'm a fat kid running, which I'll take anybody in 200 yards or less. I'll race y'all. See, my version was I'd do anything until I puked or passed out. So I'll go until I damn near die. So
that's outstanding.
That's my goal, man. I ran. I got to the car. We got in. We got buckled, and then I went.
Yeah, but nobody got to see that part, so it was all
right.
good.
See, I look damn good trying to run. I got great form too, by the way. Anybody that's a runner knows I had good form on that run.
Yeah, I got to give you that. That's for sure.
We're 30 races into the 2016 season. Pretty much everybody has a good handle on the handling of the race cars, but Saturday proved to be a difficult time for a lot of race teams. We had 10 cautions for 51 laps. What was causing all the problems there at Kansas?
That track is so nice right now. It's widened out beautifully. It's aged well. I really am happy with the direction it's gone. And I think part of that was it was so wide that tire was leaving a lot of rubber down, so it loosened up a lot as far as where the guys were going. And a lot of guys don't do a really good job cleaning up their tires after some of those caution laps. You can see it up top, how much it picks up that black rubber and makes it white again.
Yep.
It puts all that crap on the tires, and I think some of the guys don't realize how much it puts down, and they stay loose for a bunch of laps. And it was an old school, Darrell Waltrip, cautions breed caution, and they kept coming out.
Now that we look at the situation you guys are in, you've got 2 more races to try and make that cut to the Final Four to race for the championship in Homestead. I guess that's better than having just one race to try and get it done. You mentioned you got a new car coming or several new cars coming perhaps. Tell me about these next 2 events and your prospects at these next 2 tracks.
Well, I've been bragging so much about how Shane and I are Shane and I. We don't try to be other people. So now we're going to have to try to, have a little different strategy. We can't just ease our way into the next round. So the good news is Shane and I, if there's any combination of driver crew chief that have been through it all, it's me and Shane. We've been together so long. 17 years ago was our first year racing together. So we know each other well. We know we can turn it on when we need to turn it on. We know we can cool it off when we need to cool it off. So the goal is you don't have to panic. If we got 2 solid top 5s and there's a couple guys in front of us that have been averaging like a 13th, 14th place finish, if we get 2 top 5s and they do their 13th, 14th place average, we're still in this thing. So we got to not panic. We got to make sure we bring better Chevrolets to the track, which RCR is working hard on that. And it'd be great if we found enough speed that we could go out and win that sucker. But you can't rely on that. You have to do what you can do, control what's in your destiny and not try to control other people. And we'll go out there, we'll drive our best, put our South Point Chevy out there that runs as hard as we can, and we will let the chips fall where they may.
One of the things we keep hearing from the Brendan Gaughan camp is at the end of 2016, at the beginning of the year, it was going to be your last year, and now you're coming back for another one at Richard Childress Racing. You said you and Shane have been together for a long, long time. So I know you're looking at the end of the tunnel and the light's there and it's shining bright. What's in store for Brendan Gaughan? Do you want to be involved in racing when you're out of the driver's seat, or when you walk away, are you walking away?
My daddy's calling me Twilight right now. I will always race. We are a family of racers, Joey. We've been racing since the 60s, and I can't wait to go back and race the desert and go play in the dirt and do the short course and the Baja 1000 and all those things. Hell, I want to go to Le Mans so bad it's unbelievable. So you might see me in a bunch of sports cars. I'll never stop racing as long as I have a heartbeat. I will be racing something. But now the whole retirement thing at the start of the year is my dad with a reporter, and we never know from year to year, but we know we're coming back next year. And after that, like I said, I can never look any further than that because we just kind of go year to year.
Chatting with Brendan Gaughan, who drives the South Point Hotel and Casino Chevrolet for Richard Childress Racing, one of the final 8 in the Xfinity Chase. And we got a Twitter question here for you, Brendan. Zach wants to know, with no wild card race like Dega in the Xfinity Chase, would you like to see one of the 3 road course races in the Chase?
Hell yeah!
I knew what that answer was going to be.
Yes. Have I said yes? Did I say yes? Joey, did I say yes?
No, I think you said. Yep. I heard you say yes.
I would love that, man. Right now, if we had a road course, that would be perfect for me. I would love to see a road course in the Chase, even in Cup. The hard part is it's not just about, hey, let's add a road course. Mm-hmm. There's lots of logistics. Who loses the race? Who gets the race? There's lots of stuff to go into it. But I would love to see a road course because it would add one type of every track we race on. Mm-hmm. Cup has Talladega, has Martinsville, has the mile and a half. It has all of them. It doesn't have a road course. I would love to see it. That being said, it's not that easy just to add a road course. It's not just, hey, okay, let's do it. Let's take a race from such and such. Well, that ain't going to happen.
No, certainly not.
With the break now that we have experiencing in Xfinity, and I'm not a big fan of this schedule because we have this race and you guys go for 2 weeks almost before we go to Texas, Phoenix, Homestead. You guys have a lot of meetings. You said you just came out of one with Eric Warren and all your performance side. Is there a concerted effort at Richard Childress Racing for the 62 car, or is it still company-wide trying to get all 3 cars up to a level that is normal there at RCR?
Normally I'd tell you I didn't want this break. But after needing this time to get some new race cars, I'm glad we have it. It's amazing how your perspective can change based off one weekend. But no, right now, it's a time crunch, Joey. You don't have enough time to probably build a whole fleet. And Richard has been awesome. He's working hard to get that 62 team, that driver's championship. So I think right now we're going to try to crank out one as quickly as we can, and then see if we can get some more done in time. But right now, as far as I know, we're just trying to get it out there and get it on the racetrack in a timely fashion. So I don't know how many they're going to be able to get out.
Well, that's the way things stand right now. And, Brendan, I know you are now glad to have that weekend off, but we'll look forward to catching back up with you at Texas. Congratulations on the season you guys have had to this point, and look forward to seeing you guys busted for the next 2 and try and make that Final Four. I
appreciate it. I promise you I'm not going to quit, and if it takes me running again, I'll run again. I don't care.
Absolutely, whatever it takes. Thanks, Brendan. Appreciate your time as always.
Thank you.
There you go. How about that? It was really cool to see that dedication and that effort. I know we were teasing him a little bit there, but that shows some want to, and that's what you want to see.
Later on we're going to have an on-off-track segment where we talk about the intensity and how this new format works relative to being the old-school mentality. I think somebody needs to get Brendan a cup of caffeinated coffee. He needs to pick
He's
up.
Fantastic.
Yeah, the energy level's a little down this morning. He needs to
for him.
Get picked it up a little bit. But that was the intensity, and he understood that his guys have been working on his car, and the fact that he could get back there and gain 1 position. And now with today's point system, it's real simple. 1 position's 1 point. And that's what it matters. So that's what they were trying to get back out. And every point, every position they could gain by being back out there and not getting guys that were behind them still on the track being able to lap up to where they were, that's 1 point. It's real simple, and that's what they were trying to gain.
All right, a couple of guys, as we mentioned, Kyle Busch won the Xfinity race at Kansas, but the guy who's right there at the top of the charts is Elliott Sadler. He came home with a second-place finish at Kansas. Here's what he had to say.
Couldn't quite get to Kyle Busch. What more did you need for the 18?
I don't know. I got to figure out something at this track. I just told the guys they gave me a great race car, and I'm so proud of everybody on this race team, everybody on this One Main Financial Chevrolet. We worked so hard to put ourselves in this position, and we kept battling the whole day, and we kept getting the bottom on the restarts, which was not where you wanted to be. But Kyle and I got a great restart that last time. I could push into the lead, but I just couldn't quite clear Suarez there enough to make a move on the 18. But all in all, great day for us, a great first step in the second round. We'll take 2 weeks off and take a little break and get ready for the last 3.
There you go. Elliott Sadler and Daniel Suarez now essentially tied atop the standings with 2 races to go before the cutoff on the Xfinity side.
Yeah, looking to get through those next 2 races and move on to Homestead. Daniel Suarez was the top JGR non-Cup competitor there in the Xfinity race, and this is his excitement after the race.
It was definitely a good result. We went through a lot of adversity in the whole race. The car was really strong, but for some reason we lost a lot of power. I'm not sure what happened exactly, but we lost a lot of power, and I wasn't able to do anything. And that was pretty early in the race, maybe 25 laps into the race. But I'm very proud of everyone in the 19 group. They did an amazing job. They never give up. We keep tuning the car, and we end up with another top 3 finish. So that's something really good. Honestly, I wasn't expecting to finish that good, but just lucky to have a group like the one that I have.
Daniel Suarez has been fast all year, a couple of victories this season, and I know he's a guy to keep your eye on because he's tied atop the standings right now. But look at the guy in third, Joey. Blake Cook, this is a guy that you've been highlighting his story through the year. His sponsor buys a team to keep their logo on the car, saying if we're going to spend this kind of money, we might as well own the team as well. Now he's third in the standings.
Last week we mentioned the Cinderella story and the glass slipper, and guess who has it on? There he is, third in points, Blake Cook.
There you go. That's the Xfinity wrap-up we've got for you right now. On the other side of the break, it's time for some on-track, off-track action. Stick around.
This is MRN Motorsports Monday.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there, whether you're running on dirt or running a job. Our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice: Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, right on our strength.
In the Outback, we think the best part about racing is the noise, the engine, the pits, and a Kevin Harvick top 10 finish. Especially a Kevin Harvick top 10 finish. That's because if Kevin Happy Harvick, driver of the number 4 Chevrolet, places in the top 10 in today's race, there's free bloomin' onions this Monday. So you'll have a happy bloomin' Monday. Only at Outback Steakhouse. Valid with any purchase. 1 per table. Participation may vary. Registered trademarks used with permission.
There's a place where time stands still, but the clock always ticks. A place where the roots begin.
The heartland of stock car racing.
But the tree is still growing.
Green flag. It is out. Joey Logano on the...
It's Martinsville Speedway.
Yes,
NASCAR Sprint Cup Series races back to the Half Mile of Mayhem October 30th for the Goodies Fast Relief 500. Tickets are on sale now. Call 877-RACE-TICKS or visit martinsvillespeedway.com to purchase yours.
I'm Chris Busher, and you're listening to MRN Motorsports Monday with Joey Meyer and Woody Kane, making your Monday a little less stressful.
How about that? That's really nice.
It's a very relaxing
kind
of mood here.
Really nice.
We need some background music.
What,
just like a relaxing,
maybe like a lava lamp or something going on like that.
If it was a
disco ball,
if it was a radio station in my car, it might be coffee house or coffee shop.
Okay,
or
I like
that.
Yeah, we should get some coffee.
Uh-huh.
Speaking of that, did you hear Chris Busher? He was our analyst on the Xfinity race on Saturday at Kansas. Did a great job.
Past champion, has very good perspective from the booth. It's one of those things that I tell everybody. I thought for years that a crew chief would actually call the race from the roof. Logistically, it's not possible being able to interact with your team as much, but because you see so much more from the roof as MRN, they're sitting technically 10 feet below me, but it's one of the higher positions on the track, and Chris Busher had a racer's perspective, a champion racer perspective from the booth, and it was a very good call on Saturday.
Yeah, really good, and hopefully we'll be able to get him back here sometime soon, maybe before the end of the year, to be that analyst role for us another time. All right, let's get to On Track, Off Track, where we talk about some things that are going well and some things that aren't going quite so well in the world of motorsports. Let's start with On Track. What's going well in your world?
Years and years ago, 1972 to be exact, we got a big sponsor name. Winston Cup Racing came from the Grand National Series, and the sport became really big. We had an amazingly convoluted point system that nobody could keep track of, but all we talked about is how you had to race the whole season, and the championship was made at the end of the season. Used to be done at Atlanta. Dale Earnhardt and Richard Petty, they all won 7 championships, and that's the way it was, the old school mentality. I got a 57 Chevy sitting in my garage. I have a very charming life to talk about old school mentality. And now the Chase comes in the mid-2000s, and everybody's like, boo, Chase, terrible, bad point systems. But I'll tell you one thing right now. Years ago, in the old school point system, when you had a win, you won on Sunday. By Monday, you'd forgot about it because it didn't mean anything past the Sunday. You got the trophy, you got to kiss the girl on the cheek, you got the money, you got the champagne, and then you went home. Today's Chase intensity, the thrill of victory, as we grew up with years ago on TV.
Wide world of sports.
Wide world of sports. The thrill of victory in today's victory is larger and has more momentum for any race team that gets to enhance that or go to victory lane, because in the regular season, that one win means you get into the playoffs. Once you're in the playoffs, it means you get to go to the next round. And eventually, if that continues, the next round is Homestead. Okay? At Homestead, you're now racing for a championship. So those victories and the thrill of victory, that equity that it has is so much larger in today's system that I think we forget about how our new system, we're too worried about that old school mentality. The victory means more to the teams now and lasts longer. The taste of our mouth, the thrill of the taste is longer lasting than it has ever been in the past.
Yeah, one of the things, and we hear this a lot from drivers when this topic is brought up. They say, oh, I don't care about this or I don't care about that. I race to win. I race for trophies. I don't care about the money and the
Sure.
And you're not buying it?
No.
No.
No,
I agree with you. I completely agree. It is much more magnified now, and I keep going back to the comments that we got when the Chase first came in, which was we wanted to create those Game 7 moments like you see in the NBA and MLB, or those championship playoff moments like the NFL has. We've got that now, and I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, one of the unique things now is we don't know who the champion is until the checkered flag falls at Homestead. Okay, that's simple. Years ago, we were able to clinch a championship several races before the last race. I know of a spotter that went out and got a tattoo 2 races before the end of the season when the driver he was spotting for clinched a championship several races before the last race at Homestead. NASCAR said, wait a minute, this is kind of goofy. We're trying to entertain our fans. We are an entertainment sport as much we like to race, but we have to entertain our fans. And we can't simply ask our fans to show up to Homestead or even Texas and Phoenix if the season as they know it is over.
It's
Why?
anticlimactic.
Exactly
if you do it
right.
that way, yeah.
Now we go to Homestead. 4 drivers are going to race for a championship. We don't know which 4, but we can tell you of the 8 right now, 4 of them are going. And we won't know who wins that championship until the checkered flag falls, and that thrill of victory lasts for the entire season.
I remember for years before the Chase ever came into being, I would think, man, I wish we would get 1 year where 4 or 5 guys would get there and have a legitimate shot at it. Well, now we've got it. Here we are.
1992, when we had Bill Elliott, Davey Allison, and Alan Kwiecki battling at Atlanta for a championship, was pretty intense.
That was the exception, though.
That was 1992.
Yeah.
That's the last time you can think about that pre-Chase, that you had 3 drivers battling for a championship at the last race, and you didn't know who was going to win.
With a legitimate shot.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
So this is what we have. I get goosebumps thinking about it, because even though we might have kicked ourselves in the kidneys, which I said earlier in the season, we might not be in Homestead. We still have an opportunity. But if you get to Homestead and you're battling, you don't know that entire race, every missed lug nut or misfueling. Martin Truex had a fueling issue this weekend. You can't have that happen at Homestead, but that intensity is there, and that the Chase procedures cause that. That allows that.
Absolutely, they do. For me, on track is going to be almost what you've mentioned there, but with another added incentive to it, if you will. Talladega Superspeedway coming up this weekend. It's a cutoff race, and this race is always wild. You heard Kevin Harvick say a little while ago, it's stressful enough by itself, but when you make it a cutoff race as well, you guys have had to face it before, a must-win situation at a track where so much is completely out of your control, so much is dictated by the draft or what people might do in front of you or even behind you during that race. It just ramps up that intensity earlier. Several weeks ago, Joey, we were talking about the lack of drama in the Chase. Several drivers were even saying that. It's not so much the drama where they get out of the car and throw punches. To me, it's the intensity of it along the way. In that first round, even drivers were telling us, we're just going to do our thing and let some guys eliminate themselves. Now you see the intensity in this next round coming up, and it's magnified even further by Talladega being that cutoff race. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, the intensity at Talladega is a make or break for about 4 or 5 race teams, and you hate to leave Talladega knowing Talladega wasn't the race that you kicked yourself in the kidney, but it may have been 2 races before. But at the end of Talladega, 4 guys are going to go home realizing that their championship hopes are diminished, or not diminished, done. They're done, not diminished. The light's out. It's broke. It's shattered. The glass is on the ground. Your season, as you know it, for a championship, you're racing for 5th at that point in time.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, the way the schedule will fall next year, Talladega will not be a cutoff race. However, it is also a cutoff race for the Camping World Truck Series, and we'll talk about that more in just a moment. All right, let's shift to the other side now, and what's off track for you?
Well, as good as the taste of thrill of victory is, what we have in this new Chase is the agony of defeat. And for you older people watching and the people that grew up around our time and Woody's time, you remember the skier going down the slope and scattering the agony of defeat.
I was watching live when that happened.
It was real.
Yeah.
Really?
Before they made the clip out of it, yeah.
Well, that's impressive. Yeah. So what you had was in the old days when you wrecked and you had a bad day, you shook it off. And as a race team, you regrouped and you wanted to have a good points day. Ugh. And that's where that came from. And it drove the NASCAR industry crazy because you weren't trying to race for a win. You were trying to eliminate mistakes. Today, in the Chase and the playoff system, the agony of defeat and that taste in your mouth lasts so much longer. Here it is Monday, and I know we had a bad day yesterday, and we're in the Chase, and now we have to go to Talladega. But that agony of defeat is causing acidic conditions in my stomach because it's terrible.
I don't think you've ever done that before.
The agony of defeat is so great in this playoff system that you go home, and my wife last night at 11:30 says, "Aren't you going to bed?" And I said, "No." I said, "I'm so upset because
You're too jacked up about what happened."
Exactly right. So not only was Kevin Harvick and Tim Fedewa and Rodney Childers excited about the thrill of victory and how great it was, but that agony of defeat and the frustration and the acidic acid in my stomach was just tearing me apart because I knew now I have to sit here for 7 more days and get to Talladega to see how our race team performs, and possibly we can move on to the 3rd round, but possibly we might not.
Yeah.
And that was caused by today. So the agony of defeat, that's Chase system. All you old school people that love the whole season, I get it, man. We can talk about the number of championships Jeff Gordon would have won or this guy would have won had he had the same point system that Dale Earnhardt did. But it's a great system. We need to embrace it. The highs are higher and the lows are lower, and that's what we're looking for.
Absolutely. And speaking of that, if you want another acidic moment, here's what your day sounded like yesterday.
Kevin Harvick. Trouble off turn number 4. Brad Keselowski goes around.
Got turned. I gave him room, didn't I, Joe? You came up in front of him.
Straight back to the garage here.
Thought I left early. It's my fault, Joey.
Yeah, Brad Keselowski in the garage after an incident. Then your team worked tirelessly, but to no avail. Well, how did it feel when you took it back out?
Yeah, the guys busted their butt to get me back out. And you can see, put a whole new front end. There must have been some kind of damage to the engine from the spin. It was running fine before that. So, I think it's just unfortunate, Kim. I'm not exactly sure what happened to cause the spin, but we'll move forward. And if we keep putting on effort like they put here just to fix this thing, we'll be fine.
You go to Talladega with a must-win situation. You were able to pull it off 2 years ago. What's the confidence level right now?
Yeah, I don't think it's a must-win situation, so I'm not too worried about that. I'm going to go there and bust my butt and try to win, but I don't think it's a must-win yet.
There you go. The acid is coming right back up to about here, isn't it? Yeah, appreciate
really,
that. Well,
really.
you told them, you came up in front of them.
Well, and it's one of those things that
and oftentimes it's hard for a guy to tell when he's in the seat.
It is a racing situation. We were in a position that we were passing Denny Hamlin. We were running the low line. He was running the high line, the gap. Fortunately, we do have an opportunity to go to Talladega, regroup. We've won 2 of the 3 restrictor plate races this year. We've won Talladega 3 or 4 times already as Brad Keselowski driver. We have the opportunity in front of us. It's presented, but there's 39 other drivers that really don't care.
Yeah, they really don't. All right, for me on the off-track side is going to be Chase Busters. We saw Kyle Busch win the Xfinity race on Saturday, kind of anticlimactic. You'd think that the guys who were running for a championship in another division wouldn't want to run in the lower divisions, but sometimes guys say, I learned something about what the tire does or what the car does, how the track changes during a race, and they want to get some of that benefit for running. Kyle Busch dominated the race on the Xfinity side and won it. These guys are not going to be able to run the race at Homestead for the championship, so why let them run the race, the Chase races at all? That essentially takes away an opportunity for another guy who could move on. There's even some talk now today that NASCAR might be considering limiting some of those guys from moving down into lower divisions going forward.
Yeah, we have to remember that this is the first year for the Xfinity Chase as well as the Camping World Truck Race. It's a moving object so far. As we move forward and find out the intricacies and how the the integration of our Cup stars into the Xfinity and Camping World Series in the playoff system works, I think you're going to see moving forward. I agree with you. It's difficult to have the Kyle Busches, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano type drivers involved in the playoff system when a win for an Xfinity regular means so much, or a lack of a win in next week's in Texas's race when a guy has to win to move forward, for instance. And we saw it 2 weeks ago. Daniel Hemrick needs to win to move forward. He finishes second, of course, to a regular Camping World regular.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
Right, but if we see that in Texas, if we see a guy that has to win, his only chance of moving forward is a win, and he finishes second to, for instance, Brad Keselowski. We're running the Texas race. So Brad wins. The thrill of victory is great, but we bumped out a guy by finishing. He finishes second as an Xfinity regular and doesn't get a chance to move on. The integration is still being worked. It is a moving object, and I think we'll see some changes in 17.
Yeah, it seems like it's heading in that direction for sure. All right, we got to take another time out here on Motorsports Monday. On the other side, a guy who had a great top 10 run at Kansas, A.J. Allmendinger, joins us. Stay tuned.
This is MRN Motorsports Monday.
Dale Jr. here. I wear Wrangler Advanced Comfort jeans for any occasion. With new styles and great fits, you'll look good and feel comfortable no matter where you are.
Wrangler Advanced Comfort jeans are designed to keep up with you no matter where you go or what you're doing. They're made with 20% stronger denim and 4-way flex technology that moves with you, so you can go anywhere, look great, and be comfortable all day long.
Wrangler Advanced Comfort jeans, the most comfortable jeans you will ever wear. Try on a pair today.
Wrangler, be comfortable.
In the Outback, we think the best part about racing is the noise, the engine, the pits, and a Kevin Harvick top 10 finish. Especially a Kevin Harvick top 10 finish. That's because if Kevin Happy Harvick, driver of the number 4 Chevrolet, places in the top 10 in today's race, there's free bloomin' onions this Monday. So you'll have a happy bloomin' Monday. Only at Outback Steakhouse. Valid with any purchase. One per table. Participation may vary. Registered trademarks used with permission.
Ready to take the training wheels off your race scanner? Go to fanvision.com and upgrade your experience with FanVision. Not only will you be able to hear the race,
Dale Earnhardt Jr. gets a good run, drafting help from Kyle Busch, and Kevin Harvick Jr. again pulls up alongside for the race lead.
you'll see every moment through live video, instant replays, live stats, and more.
Hi, I'm Jamie McMurray, driver of the #1 McDonald Chevrolet, and I never go to the track without my FanVision. So go to fanvision.com to rent or buy yours today.
I'm Dale Earnhardt Jr., and you're listening to MRN Motorsports Monday with Joey Meyer and Woody Kane.
White flag in the air for Kevin Harvick, trying to overcome problems on pit road today. He has a commanding lead over Carl Edwards.
All the real estate he needs for the final time into turn 1. He'll make his way underneath the lap machine of Brian Scott. Half a lap to go as Kevin Harvick is on his way to victory lane.
Kevin Harvick comes off the end of the back straightaway for the final time this afternoon. Pressure is off for Kevin Harvick. He'll get the win as he races to the bottom side of turn number 4.
Happy Harvick has never been happier. He's made himself Talladega proof by winning today at Kansas Speedway.
Good phrase there, Talladega proof, as we head now to the next race in the Chase in this round before we get to the round of 8 and the Cup side and move forward there. But joining us on the guest line now, a guy who had a great day at Kansas. Talladega's next week, A.J. Allmendinger with an 8th place finish. And, man, you had all kinds of stuff on that car getting ready for Halloween. I saw Butterfingers on there, groceries, you name it. You were decked out.
Yeah, Chad and Jody, they do a great job of making sure that we got every product possible on our race car, which is in this day and age a really good thing. But yes, yesterday we had the Dillon's Butterfinger Coffee Mate Chevy. The car was really fast all weekend. Not as fast as Brendan Gaughan running to his car, but it was still pretty fast.
You know, one of the things we got to see at Charlotte was a glimpse of the new speed. You qualified 6th at Charlotte. Unfortunately, wasn't the finish you were looking for, but you back it up right at Kansas with an 10th place qualifying and an 8th place finish. It's like a light switch happened over at JTG. Have you seen that sitting behind the wheel?
Well, it's not really a light switch. It's been a lot of hard work. You know, really, ultimately what's happened is, you know, and it's just the nature of our race team and, you know, a lot of small race teams that try to fight the problem of continually trying to keep up with the big race teams. And, you know, last week at Charlotte was really our first brand new car that we've had since the beginning of the year when the cars were brand new. And, you know, RCR
through the summer has come out with some new chassis, and last week was really our first week of running one. This past week was kind of a hybrid. Part of the chassis was new. The other part was still kind of the old chassis. So I would say it was about 80% of what we had last week, and it just shows a lot of hard work on our race team to get the new cars in and get them ready to go, and all their hard work's paid off. I mean, as you said, we've had a lot of speed. Charlotte was just awesome. You know, we put the race car on the racetrack, and I was P2 in practice, and really had a suspension failure happen, and that started happening kind of early in the race, and ultimately is what took us out of the race. So I really thought at Charlotte we had a car that could run in the top 5, and you know, the way the race played out, maybe had a chance to win the race. And this past weekend we had good speed again. So looking forward to the rest of the year. Talladega, as we all know, is kind of that up in the air crapshoot. Martinsville, I really love, and we almost won the race there, and we should have brand new cars the rest of the year after Talladega and go from there. So I'm looking forward to finishing the year strong.
Speaking of that, we saw recently in the last few days that the 2017 rules have been given to the teams to start getting ready. If you're sitting still, you're getting passed, but you guys are getting new cars now, and you're already looking forward to what we're going to face next year. What do you think about what we're going to be racing next year? I know there are some minor changes from what we raced earlier this season in the 2 or 3 races that they tried it, but what do you think about the direction in general that we're heading?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's what NASCAR is doing is the right thing to do, and that's trying to take downforce away from the race cars and ultimately make the tires fall off more so that there's more passing. You know, with these mile-and-a-half racetracks, especially the ones that have more grip, a place like Kansas, you know, even the 2-mile racetracks, Michigan, places like that. With the package we have right now, even though we took downforce away, you know, these race teams, they're so good with their engineering to go out there and find that downforce that we lacked. And especially early in runs, it's tough to pass because everybody's in the throttles for so long. So what NASCAR's trying to do is the right thing, take downforce away, make us get out of the throttle more, allow for us to go after and have more passing, hopefully. And it's really a combination of making sure Goodyear and the new rules package kind of works, and that's what, as we go about, you know, NASCAR and all of us as race teams and Goodyear have to work together to make sure we get the right tire combination. But, you know, you make the tires fall off more and make the car slide around more, it's going to make for more passing, enjoyable for us as drivers, more enjoyable for the fans to watch, and that's what it's all about.
You know, you got to show up with Charlotte. You talked about your new car. You qualified very well. You bring a similar car to Kansas, qualified very well. But now the race starts. Kansas track widens out. What problems did you experience, and what did you need to go a little bit quicker on Sunday?
Well, one of our things is we've kind of struggled with, and I think some of it's trying to find more downforce in the cars, is the tracks get hotter and get more rubber on it through the course of the weekend. You know, by the time Sunday comes around, that's where our struggles would start, is the track wouldn't have as much grip and you'd be sliding around more. And I was pleasantly surprised yesterday in the fact that I didn't really fight that much. I could get the top lane rolling and we had good speed up there and could really build the momentum. And I was probably the most comfortable I've ever been running the top at a place like Kansas. So I was really happy with that. And, you know, I really thought we had a 6th to 8th place car. And the last restart, we kind of were in that unenviable position of we were the last car that didn't pit. So everybody behind me had tires, and we were still able to hold most of them off. So, you know, we just needed to find a little bit more grip in the race car overall. It wasn't really a balance issue. I thought my balance was pretty good. And to be really with the top 5 cars, obviously the 4 and the 19, the 20 early in the race was pretty dominant. The 48 and the 22 seemed like the cars that were consistently up there all day. And we just need a little bit more grip overall and a little bit more downforce to go up there and fight with them on a longer run basis. But, you know, overall from where we've been, I was really happy with the whole weekend and the way we put together the whole race yesterday.
AJ, on a track like Kansas that gets wide and you're able to run very bottom to very top, is it a setup change that allows you to run the high line, or is it a driver change?
It wasn't really a setup change. We didn't change much from practice. I thought we had a pretty good balance. You could see as practice was going on, the lane was moving higher and higher. So as a driver, you kind of have to adapt to that and go up there and work the line and see what your car did from top to bottom to middle. And I was really happy because I felt like in practice I could kind of move around and match the same speed. It seemed like definitely the top had more speed just overall. But I was able to move around during the race and could make my car kind of work anywhere, which was good. It just seemed like overall for most of the race cars, going back and watching the race, it seemed like the 19 and the 4 could run the bottom pretty good and still have good speed. But for most of the cars, everybody kind of moved to the middle of the top, and the top just seemed like it had more grip up there. So it wasn't a balance change. It just was overall just a little bit more speed up top. But I was happy. We kind of went with the plan. We stuck to the plan. We didn't make big adjustments throughout the course of the weekend. Our car was in the ballpark the whole time, and during the race, we really just made air pressure adjustments. So the car was balanced really well all weekend. And Randall Burnett and I, we've only worked together for 30 races. It's the first time Randall's been a crew chief, so he's been crew chief for 30 races now. And I feel like everything's starting to gel kind of late in the year, getting better race cars. Everybody's moving in the right direction.
Speaking of plans and sticking to plans, that may not be the case this weekend at Talladega. We'll talk about the racing in a second, but you guys have a lot going on out there in terms of sponsor involvement and all kinds of activities. I know I'm doing a Q&A with you and Landon Castle at some point that is likely to get kind of crazy, but you're doing a Facebook Live chat, you and Kyle Rickey, and this is going to be something that, boy, I don't know how in the world this thing's going to turn out. Tell us about that.
That's going to be a little scary. I'm not going to lie. That might be a little more scary than the actual race, which is that's nerve-wracking just to say that. But yeah, no, it's great. I'm so fortunate and to be part of a race team that's got so many great sponsors. And Scott Products and I are doing a Facebook chat live, and as you said, Kyle Rickey is going to be hosting it. It's going to be at 11:45 Central Time. So everybody go to the Facebook page, and you can ask questions and have some fun with us. You can go to @NASCAR47, which is our team's Twitter handle, or their Facebook page to find more info. But, yeah, Scott Products, I'm not sure which direction we're going to go with this chat. We could talk about racing in general. We can talk about what type of Scott Products that Kyle Rickey has in his house.
I think you should TP him. I think you should roll him in Scott towels.
That I'm going to try to find his address so we can definitely do that. I've had a little side thing with the heads of Scott Products to make sure I got enough product to go do that already, just in case. So we might talk about Kyle Rickey's love of going to Carowinds. I don't know. Right?
He hasn't even been this year. He hasn't even been one time. He's got a season pass.
Well, Halloween is coming up. Maybe he's going to go to Scarowinds and scare himself.
That's more his speed.
Yeah, everybody needs to come along. 11:45 Central Time, and you can ask whatever questions you want. It's an open forum, which is always scary.
And wait, what? 11:45? Which day?
Friday.
Friday. Okay.
11:45 Friday. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 11:45 Central Time. 11:45 a.m. Central Time Friday. You, Kyle Rickey, all kinds of Scott Products. Hopefully, Kyle Rickey will look like a mummy by the time you get done with him.
Yes. Yes, we can talk about how much Scott Products it would take to cover all of Talladega Speedway, which would be a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of Talladega, what about the racing there? Because everybody talks about wild card. You don't want to go there having to win, and now several guys find themselves in that boat.
Well, as a fan, this chase has been really exciting. There's been so many ups and downs, and I'm sure Joey's talked about it. With Brad spinning yesterday. He's had to be in that all he can do is go win, and he's in position. He's done it before. So, yeah, guys like that. Chase Elliott, I think, is kind of in that position as well. I looked last night, I think, Denny Hamlin and Austin Dillon are tied for that 8th spot. There's so many different scenarios, and Talladega is always the place that you don't want to have to go for those scenarios. So, a guy like Brad, I look at he's almost in a better position in the sense of he knows that he has to go win. There's no playing defense like some of these guys I think might try and play some defense. So he's got to go win. But it's going to be fun as a fan to watch. There's going to be so many different scenarios. For me, I would like to just be the spoiler. So we're going to have a great race car this weekend. Kroger's going to be on the hood, but we got breast cancer awareness, so the car's going to be all pink. Linda Connell, which is part of the Kroger family. She's a Kroger associate. Breast cancer survivor, so her name's going to be on the race. She's going to get the race with her family. So a lot going on at Talladega. Looking forward to having that pink race car, and hopefully it'll be up front all day.
It's going to be a lot of fun for sure, and everybody's excited about it. I don't think the calm word will be thrown around too much headed to Talladega this weekend.
No,
but
calm's right now.
It's
this
the
is
way
it.
we like it, right?
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
what you signed up for.
It's supposed to be.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, folks, don't forget now, Friday, 11:45 a.m. Central Time at Talladega. Kyle Rickey, AJ Allmendinger will be chatting. You won't want to miss that. Make sure you dial it in. Their Twitter handle for the team is @NASCAR47, so check them out and see what all they've got coming up this weekend. AJ, congratulations on a strong run, strong close to the season here coming up for you guys, and look forward to catching up with you out at Dega. There you go. So we're going to have a lot of fun with that. And that team is always amazing to me. What Tad Geschechter's been able to put together in terms of multiple sponsorships almost all the time when so many teams are struggling to find even a sponsor for a race, you see. It's remarkable what they've been able to do.
Yeah, race cars are built on grams or ounces, ounces or pounds, and that's exactly the way the sponsorship program works at JTG. They don't need one big one, multi-million-dollar one. They'd like one, but they don't. They go the other direction. And you see all the patches and all the names, and they had three distinct with Dillon's and Butterfinger and Nestle Coffee-Mate. They were able to join those three together to provide an adequate sponsorship for those guys to keep going. It's a very good program that JTG has over there.
Really, really cool. All right, as we mentioned, Joey Logano, one of the guys who's going to go into Talladega almost for sure needing a win. He came up with a third-place run at Kansas Speedway, but now finds himself 8th right at that cutoff line. Here's what he had to say following the race at Kansas.
Joey, how would you evaluate your run today?
Hard fought. I'm still breathing hard. Just not very good on the short runs, and so I kind of had to play defense instead of offense on restarts. And after about 15 laps, we were equal too, so we weren't way better on the long run that we were able to make up a bunch of time or anything. So I guess we did what we had to do. I think they told me I'm 8th in points. I'm not sure, but I think I am. And so we're going to be close on the race in Talladega. But we did what we had to do today. We wanted to get a solid top 5. We had to do that, and if we could win, that's what we wanted. And we had a good effort. Just got to get our cars a little bit faster right now.
This is MRN Motorsports Monday.
Leading the race in innovation, Freightliner Trucks designed the Cascadia Evolution to lower your real cost of ownership. When powered by the integrated Detroit powertrain with a DT12 automated manual transmission and intelligent powertrain management, the Cascadia Evolution can achieve up to a 13% fuel efficiency increase over the first generation EPA 2010 compliant Cascadia model, keeping you on the road and in the race longer. Learn more about the Cascadia Evolution at FreightlinerTrucks.com. Freightliner Trucks. Run smart.
Ever wish your kid came with an instruction manual? I'm behavioral therapist James Lehman, and I'll show you how to change your child's behavior now with the Total Transformation, the program that helps stop defiance, backtalking, lying, acting out in school, even problems with ADD and ADHD. There's no screaming, no fighting, no frustration. Your child will listen to you again. I guarantee it.
Change your child's behavior now with the Total Transformation. Call now. 1-800-406-2945. 1-800-406-2945.
Dale Jr. here. I wear Wrangler Advanced Comfort Jeans for any occasion. With new styles and great fits, you'll look good and feel comfortable no matter where you are.
Wrangler Advanced Comfort Jeans are designed to keep up with you no matter where you go or what you're doing. They're made with 20% stronger denim and 4-way flex technology that moves with you, so you can go anywhere, look great, and be comfortable all day long.
Wrangler Advanced Comfort Jeans, the most comfortable jeans you will ever wear. Try on a pair today.
Wrangler, be comfortable.
Hi, this is Carl Edwards. You're listening to MRN Motorsports Monday with Joey Meyer and Woody Kane.
Second place finisher at Kansas was Carl Edwards. We got a Twitter question for you, Mr. Y. Noel Bandit wants to know what's been the key to the two-car success at Talladega, and do you consider yourselves a favorite?
Whether I consider myself a favorite or not going to help us this weekend. We've been very good at Talladega for 2 reasons. We don't do dumb things, and we have very, very fast cars.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the Camping World Truck Series. Their cutoff race comes up this Saturday at Talladega. You can hear it live on the Motor Racing Network, the Fred's 250, powered by Coca-Cola, Saturday at 12:30 Eastern Time. Some guys will be eliminated. 2 drivers will be eliminated at that race.
Yeah, Daniel Hamrick and John Hunter Nemechek clearly below the cutoff line. we are asking Daniel Hemrick to do something not only has he not done in the series yet and get a victory, but a victory at Talladega. It's the only way we can take the 19 truck from BKR and move forward and get to the next round. Going to be a very high profile race. We've got a bumper that says Tyler Reddick push here because he's not in the chase, and that's his job for the entire day.
And you'll be spotting for Daniel in that race?
Spotting for Daniel for the race. That's a high intensity race. Look forward to it. The truck race and cup race both Saturday and Sunday. Used to have a whole full head of hair till we did those races.
Yeah. Timothy Peters has won the last 2 times at Talladega in the truck, so check that out. Also, don't forget NASCAR Live. Timothy Peters will be the guest. NASCAR Live, 7 o'clock Eastern Time on Tuesday. I'm Woody. He's Joey. Don't forget the Cup race, the Alabama 500, Sunday at 1 Eastern Time. We'll see you right back here next Monday to break it all down.
You've been listening to MRN Motorsports Monday, presented by Outback Steakhouse. Tune in again next Monday at noon Eastern for all the latest news, results, and interviews from NASCAR on MotorRacingNetwork.com. Brought to you by Hercules Tires. MRN Motorsports Monday is also available on demand at the MotorRacingNetwork.com Media Center. Or you can download it from iTunes or Stitcher. MRN Motorsports Monday is a production of the Motor Racing Network. All rights reserved.